Donald Trump said some things. And the envoy to Canada said some things. So I'm going to say some things. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my inflation prediction. It's that day again. But first off, let's set the tone for this conversation. This and this. I can't say those things or this video will be taken down. Examples of this. Just so you know. This, super popular in the US. As long as you're white. If you're anything other than white, no, can't be done. If you're white, totally fine. 2 points I want to draw your attention to on this list. Top of the list, right there, blaming the victim. Second, over here, defining manhood as dominant and aggressive. George Stroumboulopoulos had a video recently. They were talking about toughness and the difference culturally between the US and Canada. In the US, you're a tough guy if you can dish it out. In Canada, you're a tough guy if you can take it. Because anybody can dish it out. If you can't take it, you're 3-ply soft. Now let's go check in on what's been said about Canada. First, the victim blaming. Canada's counter tariffs pulled the rug out from Kuzma, says the US envoy. So his claim is this, is that once the United States put tariffs on Canadian products, unjustly, we put counter tariffs on products, even products that were covered by Kuzma. So you see, it's all our fault. It's all, if we weren't dressed so sexy, this wouldn't have happened. Then there's these statements from the president. Mexico does what we tell them to do, and Canada does what we tell them to do. See, here's what's going on. Trump is going to Alaska, even though he calls it Russia. He's constantly calling it Russia, so just keep that in your back pocket. They're going to Alaska to supposedly talk about Ukraine, but they're not going to talk about Ukraine. They're going to talk about the Northwest Passage, much of which is controlled by Canada. So because, he partakes in all of this, he thinks he can just dictate to us what's going to happen. He's going to give it to us, and we're just going to take it because that's what he expects. Yeah, we can tell him to go F himself, but since he's not a 16-year-old girl, he's not interested. This might seem like a joke, but I'm not kidding. Pause to read this list. That's Republican politics right now. It's this. Why is it this? Because they have found success with it in the past. Yeah, I'm making accusations. Release the files. Prove me wrong. And then, of course, there's the gaslighting, the constant gaslighting, where he's telling folks in the United States that they are not the ones paying the tariffs. I'll finish this topic with this. Again, pause to read. All right, let's wrap it up with the inflation prediction. Next week is the inflation report for July. I'm going to see what RBC had to say, and then I'm going to give you my prediction. Just like in the United States, RBC is expecting the July inflation to be the same as the June inflation. Right there, 1.9%. I mentioned when I was talking about the US inflation, the gasoline prices in July should be much lower than they were July 1 year ago. So that's going to help bring the inflation down. Another big change is that Stats Canada have changed the calculation for the month of July. So now shelter cost and gasoline take up a bigger portion of the calculation. Also, let's not forget that the tariffs are affecting us less than they are the United States. Everything in the United States is tariffed. Here in Canada, it's just stuff coming from the US. Last month, I agreed with RBC at 1.9%. Do I agree this month? No. I'm seeing 1.6%. I allowed for a little bit extra gasoline cost, but I remember July, it really wasn't that expensive. And I have been avoiding American products like the plague, so I haven't really seen a big jump in the cost of groceries. Now, something we did see last month because of the chaos is an increase in fixed interest rates, which means that the mortgage interest cost may be slightly higher for the month of July. And given that it's now a larger chunk of the calculation, it could push this number upward. So I could be wrong, but right now I'm thinking 1.6%. Anyway you slice it, the Bank of Canada is going to find some excuse. Like they just keep moving the target. It used to be the 2% target of overall inflation. Oh, now it's CPI trim and CPI medium and trim services, X shelter. Come on. I wish the people at the Bank of Canada would just speak the truth. If you're not cutting because of the US, just say, we're not cutting because of the US. Stop with this bullshit. Because most of us know this is bullshit.